Hello traders, welcome to Apex FX. It's Alan right here again, and I'm super excited to have you here with me today. In this video we're going to have a look at the market just like we always do, and we'll be marking up what to expect for the new week and possible entry zones. But if you're new to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you won't miss out on my subsequent videos. If you've done this, then let's head straight into the chart. Alright, so as usual we're going to start with DXY. Let's see how the market has progressed in the past 1 week. So basically DXY is still within the demand zone that we marked up. Price is still within that demand zone, but if there is something that is worthy to note, DXY came to take out this low just as we had predicted last week. Now remember last week I said that this low is a weak low and there's high possibility for it to be taken and tap back into this demand zone before possibly push to the upside. So overall the structure still looks bullish on the weekly time frame. So far we can call this a break of structure and a retest to mitigate the demand zone. So let's push it down to the lower time frame to see the structure carefully. Alright, so remember this is our week low. Price has taken that week low, and Thursday closed with a nice engulfing pattern. Then Friday, not engulfing, a piercing pattern rather. Then Friday closed as an indecision candle. So this pattern that has formed here signifies bullish trend, but we cannot tell yet until we begin to see structures aligned with it. So let's push down to 4 hours to see if there's anything clearly. Alright, so this is the 4 hours time frame. Taking this low, this could be liquidity, a grab on liquidity, then a push to tap into this zone. But if we look carefully, we have not broken structure yet, so we cannot really say market is bullish completely on the 4 hours time frame based on structure. So I can call this my last H4 high. I've marked it up with this trend line. I want to see that zone broken first. Once I see a break above this H4 high, then possibly a retest and a continuation to the upside, just something like this. See a break of this zone, then a push to the downside before a continuation to the upside. This is my scenario 1. This is what I want to see. But scenario 2 may just be a continuation to the downside. We can still have a second push back to the downside. We can't tell for how long, but basically we're going to follow the trend. It can react from where it is currently and continue to the downside, or break above this zone, retest and push to the upside. I would really want to see scenario 1 play out, which is break to the upside and continuation. But if that doesn't work out, we can just continue the trend to the downside just as it is. So basically weekly is still bullish, daily also is still bullish, but H4 isn't really bullish per se based on the structures here. Let's see how Monday aligns, then we'll know what to do. All I'll just advise is for us to wait for Monday to play out so that we can see the market clearly. But just have these two scenarios in your mind and know that the weekly is still bullish on the DXY. So let's push to Euro USD quickly. There's not so much happening on Euro USD per se. Euro USD is the complete opposite of DXY. So also we are going to be having Fed interest rate this week, I think on Wednesday, and there's high possibility that the Fed interest rate is going to be high. If that turns out, that's going to be bullishness for the dollar, and that's going to help to break those structures that we are looking at. We may have a break to the upside, but let's just watch out for how the news comes at the result of the news rather, then we'll know what to expect from the dollar. So coming back to Euro USD, this is the weekly time frame. As we can see, we broke structure here, tap back into this zone. We've taken liquidity from the high that we marked up last week, that week high. Let's push it down to the daily to see it clearly. Very good. Now last week I said that there's high possibility for this high to be taken, and it has been taken. Now. Price has broken above it rather. I want to take this as a grab on liquidity before we continue to plunge to the downside. We can see this nice bearish pattern that has formed there, and an indecision on Friday as well, just the direct opposite of what's happening on the US dollar. All right, let's break this down to the 4 hours time frame. Perfect. So on the 4 hours time frame, I can see a H1 bus here. This is H1 structure. We had a break of structure there, a retest and a push to the downside. Now price has actually broken this H4 bus as well. If we can see, we had this candle close outside it. Then the rest of the day, for the rest of the day, that was Friday, the market was just consolidating. So Euro USD looks bearish already. Looks bearish, very bearish. So basically what I'll be looking out for is entries for lower prices on Euro USD. Let's push it down to the 15 minutes time frame if we'll see any nice setup. Alright, so basically we could just mark the whole of this zone and wait for price to come back into it. That is a supply. Then possibly we can see a sell continuation from this zone. I'll be targeting this. Yeah, tap into this zone, maybe a reaction, then a push to the downside, just basically following M15 structure. The structure is completely bearish here on M15 already. I will be targeting this low here. Yes, that's going to be like my major TP1. Yes, you can target this low, but if you look carefully, I see something here as well. I can see some form of liquidity here. This is clearly liquidity resting there. Let's mark it up. So this could be a draw on liquidity. Could see a tap into this zone and a sell continuation to take out the liquidity resting here and to tap into this previously unmitigated H4 demand. I'll be looking to sell into this zone. This is the setup I have here on the weekly time frame, and this is what I'll be looking out for on Monday or Tuesday. Basically Monday this should play out though. But Euro USD is heavily bearish at the moment. We'll just keep riding the trend as it is until we see any reason to shift our bias. But for now, all time frames are bearish from the weekly down till the 15 minutes looks bearish. Alright, let's move to GBP USD as well. Now GBP USD has been very funny. It used to be my favorite pair, but for some months now, almost going to a year, I've been focused more on Euro USD. I'm failing to really understand the structure here on GBP USD based on lower time frame entries and the likes of it, but it's all good. All right, so GBP USD weekly time frame, as we can see here, we have this supply here. Price tapped into it, reacted, but it's beginning to push upwards. I have a zone here. Let's move back to the monthly time frame if I can see it. Perfect. We had this monthly demand zone here. Price tapped into it and we are seeing a massive rejection. We had a massive rejection last month, and this month looks as if it's going to close bullish also. Today is already 30th, so there's high possibility that this month is going to close bullish. Let's see how it goes. So let's bring it back to the weekly time frame. But if you look up here, you would see that this is actually the main demand supply zone here. This is the supply that led to this break of structure. So this extreme should be the one that will really hold. So there's high possibility that price may be going towards this supply zone here before a dump to the downside, but we can't tell yet. But basically we're going to be following structures to see how structures align. But basically this is the supply zone that I'll be much more interested in. This supply zone that led to the break of structure, that's going to be my focus. So having that in mind, let's slide down to the daily time frame to see. Okay, don't have that zone marked. Let's make it visible on this time frame. Perfect. Let's move it down. Perfect. So basically we're going to be expecting a tap into that zone before a sell continuation. So there's nothing much here. Let's move to the 4 hours time frame to see if there's anything there. All right, so here on the 4 hours time frame, there's a lot of action. As we can see here, the market is clearly bullish on the 4 hours time frame. We had our previous H4 high, low, a break of structure leading to a new high, and this is our new low. This is the origin of the new H4 leg. Everything that has happened here, all of this, everything here is just internal range liquidity. So I would not really focus on it. This is the high and this is the low of this H4 leg. Clearly it has been broken here already. So with the break of this structure, What I'll be looking out for, I've marked up some zones here. Let's look at them carefully. We have this first zone. This is the zone that led to the break of structure. So we have this zone. Price can come into it, react, and continue to the upside. We see a drop. Let's mark it. Continuation to the upside, or price can decide to come back for this one. We have these deeper ones here, and finally this extreme. So any of these three zones is what I'm going to be watching how price reacts from. If I see a reaction from me, I'm ready to go long. If it pushes lower and to the extreme as well. But basically GBP USD is bullish, heavily bullish, so I'll just be focusing on looking for longs on GBP USD down into this weekly supply that we have here. And from this weekly supply we can begin to look for shorts to the downside. The only issue is that currently GBP USD is not aligning with DXY, so I would be very careful trading GBP USD. I would be really careful with GBP USD at the moment. I really want to see that correlation, that negative correlation between GBP USD and DXY, but going the same way, no, that's a turn off for me. So guys, just stay safe with GBP USD and trade it with caution. Maybe cut down your risk to the barest minimum. So let's move to gold. All right, so I've been studying gold for a while now, taking it up as a second pair, which I would like to focus on. So let's look at it. This is gold weekly time frame. Weekly time frame looks bearish. But remember we tapped into a previous monthly zone here and we had some reactions, but overall the weekly time frame still looks bearish. We tapped into this supply zone, reacted heavily. The past 2 weeks have been some kind of indecision though, so let's just watch and see how it progresses. Let's push it down to the daily time frame. Not so much here on the daily time frame, except for the fact that Friday closed heavily bearish. This could be a good sign, a push to the downside. So let's move it down to 4 hours to study structure carefully. All right, so here on the 4 hours time frame, we had this zone that I marked up I think about 2 weeks ago, thereabout. Yes, 13th October, yeah, thereabout. So I saw this zone here and I marked it up, expecting price to tap into it. It created this double top here, which I was expecting this move to actually push back. I expected this move to tap into it before it sells to the downside, but unfortunately we didn't get it that time. Then the price continued lower. We had a new break of structure. This was our H4 high, broke structure, retraced, broke a new structure, thereby tapping into that zone. But if there's something to note there, this is more like a V-shaped recovery. Price was not really sustained. This break of structure was not sustained, just pushed up and back into the trend. So when I saw this V-shaped recovery, it signified that there is high possibility that price may be going lower because we've actually tapped into a previously unmitigated zone here. Now to see this clearly, let me just move this to the 1 hour time frame, then you will see that structure clearly. Perfect. You can see that we had this previous supply zone which was unmitigated. Very beautiful structure, very beautiful. Now we've tapped into that zone and price is currently selling to the downside. But there's something to note here. These are H4 high and low. I'm on the 1 hour time frame. Let's move it back to H4. Perfect. So this is our H4 high. This was our previous high. This was our previous low. Now price has not really broken our H4 low yet. We want to see a break of this H4 low to confirm the bearish trend on the higher time frame, but the chances of being broken is very high. Just studying what's been going on the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, let's move it to the 15 minutes and see. The 15 minutes is bearish. We've had a lot of break of structures. We had a minor break of structure here, but let's focus on this one here. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. This is a good break of structure. Yeah, that's a break of structure on the 15 minutes. That's a good leg break here. Perfect. That's a good one. Although we had a minor one somewhere here, I won't really focus on it, but the 15 minutes is heavily bearish at the moment. So what I'm just going to be looking for is sell opportunities. I'll be looking to take out this low. I even see this as liquidity right now. This is some form of double bottom here, so there's high possibility for market to sweep it. So I will just mark up this zone here. Yes, perfect. Possibly a reaction from this zone, then we can expect a dump to the downside. So this is my bias on Gold is looking bearish, heavily bearish, in as much as H4 has not been broken yet, but the possibility of H4 being broken is very high. But if I begin to see a break of structure to the upside on M15, then I'll have to stay by the sideline to examine what's going on carefully, then decide what to do. But basically that would actually mean a shift back to bullish trend, but I don't see that happening. It doesn't look that way yet. Let's just see how the market progresses. But for now, we're bearish on gold, very bearish on gold. So finally, US oil. Let's move to US oil quickly. All right, US oil as well, the structure has been very beautiful, just as predicted last week. Remember, we tapped into this monthly zone, reacted off it. We had the little push to the downside and the reaction. So let's go to daily to see it carefully. Perfect. So we tapped into this zone after grabbing liquidity, and we broke structure. Now this is a valid high. This is not a weak high. It is a strong high because it pushed up and led to a new break of structure. Now price closed heavily above it. We had this break of structure and a retracement. I marked this last bearish candle before the impulsive move that led to the break of structure. That's my demand. Price has tapped into my demand, and we had some form of consolidation for many days. 1 2 3 4 4 days, 5 6 7, about a week of consolidation. Then we had this massive push at the upside. This was Wednesday. Then Thursday and Friday still closed as an indecision. So so far so good. It's looking bullish. We had this first break of structure, tap into this zone, and price has reacted off it. Now let's break it to the 4 hours time frame to study structure. Perfect. So last week we thought price would come back to fill up this imbalance, but unfortunately price didn't tap into the imbalance before skyrocketing upwards again. So let's see. We had a break of structure here, push to the upside, a retracement, and a new break of structure. This is our last low. This was our previous high and our last low. Price broke above the previous high and was well sustained above it. So this is a valid break of structure. So what I just want to see now is possibly a push to the downside and a continuation upwards. Now this is the first zone I'll be looking at. I can see a hidden demand zone here. Price can react off it, and I have this in the extreme where price can come to. So price can react from here or decide to come this low. Depending on what we see, we'll just be trading based on it. But this is the two zones I'll be looking to look for longs from. So just mark them up and let's see how price is going to react from them. But overall, US oil is still looking bullish. We just keep following the structure and trading based on what we see. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Just stay safe out there. The market has been quite funny, so if you need to cut down on the risk, cut down on your risk. Don't trade so much as well. Pay good attention to what's happening in the market and just follow the trend basically. Until we see again, I wish you good luck and good trading. And also, please don't forget to continue sharing this content if you love it. If you are finding value from this, continue to share, continue to like, continue to subscribe. Thank you very much and stay safe.